Hello, my name is Alan Jacobson with FirstLook. This video is a sort of a quick start guide to the FL360 LR camera and the FirstLook360 software. This is April 2025. This is sort of where we're at as far as our versions go. It's a bulletproof version of the FirstLook360, although you never say bulletproof with software, but it's very, very good version. Fixed a lot of issues. And we now have a Apple iOS version of that same software that is working extremely well as well. So really pleased about that. Here's it running on an iPad. So getting started. So this first part of the video is just how you're new to the camera. You want to get out there. You want to turn it on. You want to use it. You want to understand the software, some of the key features, and then go. And then what I'll do is I'll do that part first, and then I'll go into deeper details about the camera operation, the software operation, and some accessories and some options deeper into the video. So you can continue to watch to get the deep dive, but the beginning will be just getting started. So let's do just that. So this is the USAR LR kit. It's our #1 seller. That's what I'll base this on, but it works the same with all of the kits. So what you need to do is you need to find the 4mm screwdriver, release the lid, whether it's the speaker mic lid that's on there right now or the environmental lid. 90% of the time you'll use the speaker mic lid. It is waterproof like the environmental lid. Just if you're going to leave it underwater for 30 minutes, use the environmental lid. 10 feet, 30 minutes max. Wi-Fi doesn't work, by the way, so you need to use the hardwire cable for that. So that'll be a little deep diver. But grab the batteries, lithium ion. These are the 18650 batteries. They go in. You'll be able to see a positive and a negative on here. They just pop in. If you put them in upside down, the camera won't start, but you won't wreck anything either. Just reverse, make sure they go in right away. So red is usually always towards the top of the camera. Put it back on. Make sure that the lid goes on. You don't have to go super tight. And to save time, if you're in a hurry, you could start the camera before you start putting the lid on. It doesn't matter what the sequence is. By the way, when you take the batteries out of the camera, you don't have to shut down the camera. To do that, you can just take them out without doing the shutdown procedure. It won't harm the camera. Basically, hold down the red button. You'll see a little blue light come on here. That blue light will be launching for 40 seconds. This is usually the time that I start up the tablet, but my tablet is already started and connected to my computer, so I can't really show you that. It takes about, 20, 25 seconds to start the tablet, right? So what'll happen is this blue light will switch to a green, a yellow, or a red. If it's red right away, just stop right there and change the batteries. It means they're dead. Green is usually if you've been, so let's see, there we go. Green light, green's a go. So, and then it'll start flashing red and blue. Now, in our night vision version of this camera, flashing light is not very discreet. So we have a setting now in the newest version of this FL360 or FirstLook360 software that allows you to turn off the flashing connection light. Now, you usually have to connect to the camera first to do that, and then the next time you turn it on, the flashing lights will be there. So it's you have to turn it off each and every time you want to be discreet. Just a little sidebar there, sorry about that. All right, so now the camera is basically ready to go. If I go down here, you'll see that the software, the tablet, so actually I'll show you a picture here. I've kind of got the tablet down on the table here in front of me. Here you can see actually the tablet and the software. So I'm just going to launch this software for a quick second. This is our FL360 software. If your camera exhibits this software when you're running and operating, you need to update. First, you have to update, take your camera or your tablet to Android 11 or higher, and then you can download the new software, install it, do a firmware update, and get to the latest version of the software. So if you're running this software, I need you to update. And we have a separate video on that, by the way. It's a little dated now. The update procedure is actually even faster and sleeker than the one on the video, so do that for sure. So I'm going to launch the FirstLook360 application, right? So what happens now is my camera is blinking. So I want to actually go Wi-Fi at this particular point. So I'm going to hit the Wi-Fi signal. It'll actually go out It's currently connected to my home Wi-Fi. I want to actually select the FL360 10986, and that's the serial number that's on the camera right here. Okay. Now it says connected without internet. I usually wait to that point where it says connected without internet before I hit the back button. It's this far right button here on your Active Pro, and it brings you back to the main screen. You can see now it tells me my version is 2.6.12. That's the latest version of April 2025. Anything that or higher is where you want to be. Anything lower than that, update your camera firmware and your software. 9.5 is the firmware version for this, as well as a previous version. So if you have 9.5, you don't have to do a firmware. So now this is where I have a choice of being the operator or the observer, because now the new software also allows you to have up to 5 devices connected and within 60 feet of each other, right? So one operator that controls the lighting, the auto rotate, the turning on and off of the flashing light, and the speaker, or so the microphone, controlling the speaker. So as an observer, all I can do is watch the video stream, take my own videos, pictures, but I can't control any of the other things that the operator does. So one operator, 4 observers, and that's important. You don't want to have too many cooks in the kitchen. So I hit the connect button. See, it tells me now 9.4 is the version of the firmware. The start button is ready to go. That little extra step is there so you can switch between operator and observer. I hit the start button. And now we're connected. We're inside my office. I'm going to make you all nauseous now by putting in the camera on the pole. All right. I'll have to take this little knob off here. So with the pole, what you want to do is you want to screw the camera on until it reaches the end. Not super tight, just firm as it reaches the end. And it should be basically you've got your heat sink lined up to the right side of your pistol grip. So this is the right camera. This is the left camera with the speaker mic on it, right? That's important because as I actually rotate through the software, it's really helpful to know that my camera is in the correct position. And then at any point, if I get lost, I can hit the field of view indicator, the top right-hand corner, and it'll bring me dead center. And that circle is always the rubber stopper. This X is always where you thread it into the pole. So that's always the back of the camera. So as far as being able to put the camera into the space and have your bearings straight, that's important for the positioning. Now, what we have done is, which is great with the new software, update, is everything always reverts to the right. So even if I have this, now camera's looking up and down, if I do actually turn it, which we don't recommend, but if I do turn it, what'll happen is the camera will automatically adjust to the right anyhow. So always the right side will be the right side. So if I have the pole and I have it actually completely upside down, my camera, you see how it reverted back to the right. That's the new software. Before you would actually be backwards, right? So you need to update to the new software. So the idea is you go left, right, up, down, and further into the space. Quarter turn on the pole, release, and lock. If you keep threading this nut here, you go all the way to the end, the pole will fall out of the camera. And then you'll lose all these little plastic pieces that are inside this camera pole, and you'll render your pole useless. So don't do that. Quarter, turn, release, and go back and forth, right? That is the proper use of this pole. I can't stress it enough. You don't have to keep undoing the threads. There's a lot of thread there. I don't know how it keeps happening, but it does. So quarter, turn, release. That's important. Now you have the choice of putting the tablet on top of the camera using the supplied mounts. We recommend a 2-person operation on this situation. We have one person controlling the pole and another person controlling the tablet. It's a much safer on the rubble pile. You're both watching your feet. By the way, you're ready to go. So what I'm talking about now is a little bit deeper dive into it. So although I might say that if you wanted to updo the lighting, let's see here, that's what this button is here for, right? So you can see now that the camera lights are on. On the long range camera, the LR camera, if I hold down this one, it'll go to a number 10, super bright for about 10 seconds, and then it'll reduce down again, right? So it just brightens up an area for 10 seconds, really bright. My nice red shoes you can see there. And then it'll go back to normal. You see it's drop back down. This is my adjustment. There are some contrast adjustments here. We're working on, constantly working on that. So for you hardcore users, you can start adjusting contrast and things of that nature. Here, you can hit the button. And basically 1, 2, 3, I say 4 seconds now. I used to just say 2. And that'll capture your entire space. Actually, let's hit the button again there, stop that. And what I've noticed when we've gotten to the new file format is that the first second you kind of is black, and then it kicks in for the recording. And then, so 3 or 4 seconds, 4 or 5 seconds, you get the entire space on that recording. Then the button beside it is just taking a still image. Currently that is a 360 image. We're fixing that so that it'll be a static single shot. You can take the 360 video, so why would you need a 360 picture? And you can take pictures within the videos, by the way. The other features on here is I can release the microphone feedback because I'm so close here. I can hit this microphone button here, and that's the push to talk, to be able to talk through the speaker. Testing 1, 2, 3. Then 1, 2, 3. Again, we're getting a little feedback because generally you're not a foot away from your microphone and your tablet together. As I move up, there's this little I button here. If you forget what all these little buttons do, you just hit that once and it'll tell you what's going on. So I hit it again, everything disappears. If I double tap the screen, all of your indicators disappear except the meridian line, right? So the meridian line stays. Double tap it again and they come back. Right? So that's kind of a nice feature. In the top right hand corner is telling me that I'm the operator. It has the headset. If I'm an observer, it'll actually have an eyeball. And then the number beside it is how many people are connected. So if I wanted to, I could take my tablet, my iPad, now you just all know my code, and I want to connect to the camera. Now, interestingly enough, the iOS still will not let us connect to the Wi-Fi picker from within our software. So we're constantly working on that. So I'm just going to hit that. I just go to the settings, select the camera as my Wi-Fi device. Give me a little check mark there. Go back to the FL360. I can now connect using the iPad. And now you'll see on this side, that number has changed from 1 to 2. So on this camera, I'm only observer. I don't have as many controls as I do on the left, right? So that's the control, the operator and the observer. I can do the same thing with my iPhone, right? Same process. Somewhere in here I have the FirstLook360. There it is, right? So connected camera, it won't let me until I actually go into settings and select the camera, right? So I go to Wi-Fi. There's the camera. I like to wait for the little check mark, right? Go back to the first look, and now I can connect. Start. So this is a 12 mini. That's a little camera, but the picture looks pretty dynamite. And again, I control it exactly the same way. The field of view indicator, up and down. All right? So what else is there on here? So as I go through, you'll see this little button here, and I'm going to go back to this version to show you what that is. That's auto rotate. So when I turn auto rotate, hold on here, as I go up vertically, there we go. So what's happening is I'm changing the view from this way when I do a straight entry to this way when I'm doing a vertical entry. So say a parking garage. When I put the camera over the side and I'm going down over the parking garage from the top and I want to see what's in each side of the parking garage levels, I want to have the camera in auto rotate. Okay, I don't want to be looking at the ground. I know what's on the ground. I looked over my head, I could see it. So I want to see what's in between the buildings. So that's what auto rotate is for, is when the camera is going straight up and down. When I'm doing a normal rescue, I actually want the auto rotate off. Actually, I have some. There we go. Off. So what happens is when I hit the field of view indicator, the circle is always the center. When I hit the field of view indicator, when it's in a vertical situation, it's basically somewhere pointing towards where the pistol grip is, and that's my front or my starting point to go through the space again. So that's a little bit something you need to play with. So that's something you need to get used to when you're working with it, is that auto rotate. Now you can see I've got 3 devices now connected. My iPhone, my iPad, and my Android tablet, all connected, working with it, right? So on my iPhone, I can take pictures and video, and I'm not looking at the same place that the operator is. I'm looking wherever I want. So consider this. You found a victim in a space. You've got one person who's the operator, who's communicating with that victim, trying to triage them, talking back and forth, having that, moving the camera around. The other people on the observer can be doing things like figuring out how to get them out of that space, right? So they are looking somewhere entirely different. How do I penetrate this space and get them out, right? The other thing is, if you're sending information up to the GIS mapping, you can do that with a observer. So not interfering with the rescue, you can take a picture on the outside, you can take a clip from the inside. In this case, you'd have to do a screen capture until we fix that 360 image problem that we have. Otherwise, generally most GIS won't accept the 360 image, and then how do you remember what you're taking a picture of in the first place if it's 360, right? So you take right now you have to take like a screen capture and send that up. But that's where the observer can really come in handy, having multiple streams from the camera itself. And I think, now there is the ability, as I go back here, if you're having some issues, I'm not going to demonstrate that here. I think we have a video somewhere on YouTube about using it hardwire. But I can actually change from wireless to Wi-Fi or to hardwire just by disconnecting the Wi-Fi. So you just basically, actually let's go here. You have to go to settings. And I usually put that right on the main screen. Turn off my Wi-Fi. Go back, and now it's going to want to go hardwire, but I need to physically connect that hardwire to it. And I can't because the tablet's right now connected to my computer, so I can't have both connections going. But that's easy enough to do. So once you turn off the Wi-Fi, it'll go directly into hardwire mode, and then you're not restricted by the 60 feet. If you have a 100-foot cable or optional 300-foot cable, you can take that extent. If you are an original camera user with the USB tethering, you're maxed out at 100 feet. And you can always tell that because it doesn't say LR here on the camera, and you can actually see a picture of the old original camera here. It doesn't say LR on it. So if you've got that camera, you're maxed out at 100 feet hardwired, and it's USB tethering, so the sequences are slightly different. But like I say, I've got a video on that. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that maybe we want to talk about it. So if I actually hit the settings button and I scroll to the bottom, this is, hold on. I have to be connected to the camera. My apologies. Just go back here, turn my Wi-Fi back on, connected, right, go to settings. So this is a measure, something new. It's a new feature. I'm just learning it. Now the disable camera LED indicator comes up. So you actually have to be physically connected to the camera to turn off. To actually have to be, makes sense. You have to be talking to the camera, streaming, in order to turn off the light. So if I hit this now, and then I can just go back, just ignore the reset, you'll see that my flashing light has stopped. So this is for our new night vision version of the FL360 called the IR-C. So that's an interesting feature. So now your lighting is all infrared. So the camera goes into a dark black space. You can turn on the lighting. Nobody knows it's on. The flashing light is gone. It's all black. It's good. It's a cool camera. So that's more for your local SWAT team than it is for your local rescue team. You can turn off the auto rotate. You can turn off the meridian line. And this is, again, the law enforcement side. They hate the meridian line in the way. But rescue, I recommend you always keep it there. All right, so that is sort of the use of the camera. I think I went over the pole, the camera itself, the batteries, how to put them in, how to operate it. I'm building some videos on the specific kits. At least the 2 kits that I have in my office right now are done, the USAR-LR and the drywall kit. We'll get to the others in due process. If you have any questions, concerns, or your update didn't work, or something's not functioning the way you think it should, call us. That's what we're here for. We appreciate you as a customer. We appreciate your feedback, your comments, your concerns. If you get something cool, you've done something cool with the camera, by all means, call us up and tell us, an interesting rescue that took place and the camera was maybe a critical point in that rescue. We'd love to hear it. We don't have to use names or anything like that, or dates or places, just sort of scenarios where the camera maybe was, used in a really cool way. I think I still have, let's see here. Like, for instance, this is Indianapolis Fire Department. They like to record a lot of their rescues because they use it in their multimedia streams afterwards. So this is the camera used to chase after. You'll see it here in a moment. A dog basically ran after a gopher. There he is, or she. And right under a shed. So they actually had to locate the dog, make sure, find out how far it was inside, that it was still alive. They could actually hear it whining and barking. Then they had to lift the shed, trench in to get the dog. But this is a cool use of the camera, and it's something that we love to see at any time possible. If you have things like this, please share it with us, and we'll share it on our multimedia streams and give you full credit. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it. All the best to you, and look forward to hearing from you.